Hello and welcome to the very first edition of the Holistic Revolution podcast. I am Ken.
Hi, I'm Jen.
And we're from the Holistic Revolution. And we have been wanting to foray into the podcasting universe now for going on about 2 years. And we finally have the time. We've carved it out of our schedule. And we are going to be coming at you guys weekly with somewhat good interviews, good content. We're going to keep it controversial, and we are going to attack some of the, what do you call it, sacred cows of the fitness and nutrition industry.
Pretty controversial.
Yeah, that's our specialty. Like right now, I have a black coat on, but I have brown pants on. So that's right off the bat. We're rolling right off the bat. We are a 3,500 square foot facility located in Downriver, Wyandotte, Michigan, and we have been training people one-on-one. I've been a personal trainer for going on, 16 years now? Long time. Long time, even though I don't look that old. I've been doing it for a while, and the need for this podcast has arisen because, simply put, I can't, or we can't now with you here, we can't keep up with the amount of misinformation and just general overall silliness that is prevalent in today's population. So I'm getting bombarded with questions and emails and things on Instagram and Facebook, and we figured that this environment would be the best to answer some of the questions that are plaguing, it seems, people in this country. So do you have anything to add to that?
And let's face it, we talk to each other all the time. We talk about these issues all the time. People laugh at us the way we talk about these issues all the time with each other, and how honest we are, and how much we cut everything out of, our answers. So we thought everybody around here gets a kick out of hearing us talk together. Maybe you would too.
Yes, censorship be damned. This will be uncensored, and you're gonna hear about we're gonna interview some people that we find Revolution approved, whether they be dietitians, people in the industry, equipment people. We're gonna bring some good stories and good backgrounds to light, things that can help people like maybe yourself out there who are struggling, whether it be with nutrition, setting up a training program, having the motivation to go to the gym, and we're going to tackle topics like that too. So we want to make it, obviously we don't want to make it dry and boring. It's not a lecture. There's no PowerPoints. But we don't.
There's no test.
There's no test. But we do want it to. We want it to be fun and engaging, and that's gonna mix up as much stuff as we possibly can, because the litany of topics that we have to cover is just
absolutely.
It is crazy. So, let me ask you real quick. The first thing that why does someone come to the Holistic Revolution?
They are tired of everywhere else.
Good point.
Not getting results, maybe not getting the truth when they ask questions, maybe not feeling comfortable, maybe feeling out of place, maybe they've been bamboozled once or twice.
Yeah, I think that if you wanted to qualify it, you would say that we're maybe the last stop at the train station in our area. Most of the clientele that we get, or that I have experienced, is certainly in the last 5 years. They have gone everywhere else. They've tried every other thing, and they're either still stuck in the spot they are, whether it be mentally, whether it be physically, whether it be emotionally, food stuff, coming off of an injury, so prehab and rehab conditions. We see a lot of that in our area. There's a lot of things that people, not to sound like a hater, but there's some things that people do very well, and there's a lot of things though that people don't do at all very well.
And being a hater is what we kind of do.
Yeah,
very
we're the
well.
team super hater, right? Yeah. So we're gonna put our hating powers together here for a second, and real quick in this first intro, I want to talk a little bit about fitness, and when people come to a personal training facility, what they should maybe want to expect, since that's
Okay.
how we got started. Was we were a traditional one-on-one fitness facility. We offer a membership now, but we're traditionally one-on-one
Sure.
based training. And the first thing that I think that people have to understand, everybody gets hung up on education, okay? First and foremost, so you have to be certified. Does a college degree mean that you're any better off than anyone else?
No.
No. In this country, at least, if you're from the United States, we have a thing called exercise science, and largely it's neither exercise nor science. So it's a $40,000 piece of paper. Controversial statement number one, right there. Waste of money. But that's not indicative of skill level. It means that you met a minimum requirement, just like a personal training certification would.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
That's an important thing to have. Okay. From a liability perspective, I was talking about this with a client today. Insurance is a thing that you might want to look into the facility that you train at having.
And you would be surprised how many facilities do not cover their clients, what happens inside of their business, and they may not even cover their business.
This is true. Okay, so you have 3 levels of insurance. To drop some knowledge on you, you have general, which would cover your general liability, which would cover your equipment, and then you have professional liability. So professional liability is where if I tell you, hey, 3 sets of walking lunges, 10 reps each set, and a minute rest per set with 15-pound dumbbells, and you get hurt, the professional liability side of the equation covers it because I told you to do something.
Sure.
Okay, that's very key. So there are general and professional, and they are not the same. Okay, so that's number 2. Then number 3, what you want to look at is some form of intake questionnaire. Now, our intake questionnaire here is pretty comprehensive. It's really long, and it's long on purpose because we have a lot of questions to ask you, and we like to read paperwork. So,
And we like to ask you the same question in probably 4 or 5 different ways to see if you will answer it the same way every time.
yes, so they can be really comprehensive. Like ours is pretty comprehensive. It's going to ask you questions that are related to our system. So core values, why are you here? It's going to ask you stuff about your nutrition. It's going to ask you stuff about sleep. It's going to ask you stuff about movement, previous injury history, meds, the whole 9 yards. Okay, it doesn't have to be that complicated, and just because things don't be fooled either for a split second and think that just because something is extremely complicated means it's good either, because it's not. But there should be some form of intake questionnaire, some
Sure.
form of, I'm coming to you from a professional perspective, and I'm looking and I want to know why you're here, and I want to know a little bit about you. Okay.
And that's for your benefit as well. You want to make sure that the people that you're entrusting your training with and your money ultimately with knows exactly what you have going on so that they can treat you with as much respect and concern as you deserve.
Yeah, and trainers out there, don't think just because someone filled out a questionnaire that they were A, honest with you at all, and B, didn't leave out, to piggyback on the honesty thing, left something out. The very, very, very first client I ever had, like I said, I've been doing this for 16 years. I started off at a big box gym. The very first client I had filled out paperwork. I came prepared, so on and so forth. He left out that he had a pacemaker. That's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big,
It's kind of a big deal, right? So this, of course, was addressed at the time because he didn't look so hot in a training session. And I said, "Is everything okay?" And he said, "Oh, I'm pacemaker." And I said, "Oh, you didn't put that in your thing." So there's liability coverage in that. There's also establishing a rapport of, look, we're meeting. We always say you have to meet the client where they're at. We're meeting you where you're at. What do you have going on, so that way we can establish an effective program. So you have the school thing, the insurance thing, the questionnaire thing, and then from there has to be some form of assessment, because what gets measured gets managed.
Sure.
Okay, so I can't tell you the amount of people that we have seen come in and have no plan whatsoever. They've never been, and okay, do we do a really comprehensive assessment? Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay, but that's one thing that we pride ourselves in. Again, does it need to be super comprehensive? No, it can be legitimately anything. Measurements, body fat, weight, testing protocols as far as strength, endurance, whatever way that someone wants to put it together, but at least have something on paper. That way it can be related back to the person's goal that
Sure.
they have. So if you say, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds, well, how are we going to know that you lost 20 pounds? If we never weigh you, and we never take your body fat, and we never
Sure.
measure you.
And in turn, how do you know to have somebody lift 20-pound dumbbells when maybe they can't even lift a 10 without being fatigued?
Yeah, so you would find out all those things inside of an assessment. So it could be physiological, blood pressure, resting heart rate, the body side of it, measurements, weight, body fat, like we just talked about, and then it could be also performance-based too. So what can they physically do? A movement screen would fall into that category. Are they coming off of an injury? These are all things that you want to know, and these are all things that as a consumer you're looking for. Is this thing kind of set up as a chop shop, or is this an actual professional environment? We take it seriously, even though the fitness industry in and of itself doesn't take itself seriously. This is why you have so much jokey nonsense that goes on. So we take ourselves seriously. We take it as a profession, and we are professionals. So in our professionalism, that's how we operate. If you're running something that's like, class-based or boot camp, this or whatever else, you might not do any of that, but buyer beware. Okay?
Absolutely.
And people who have, it's kind of the thing where I say you can go that way. You're gonna you'll end up here one way or the other, because either you're gonna go through a program and not see what you want and find your way here, or you're gonna get hurt doing something and you'll find your way here anyway. So it's just, do you want to take 1 week or do you want to take 10 years?
Which is fortunate for
It's
us.
up to you. It's up to you.
But
Do you want? We'll see you.
unfortunate
Yeah.
that you have to waste the time and the money to figure those things out, when really, if you do a little bit of time, a little bit of research before you jump into a place, and please, and that's all we ask. Everybody, do your research, think for yourself, make the decision for yourself, and that is 100% why we're here doing this.
It's true, because even in and of itself, we're not for everyone, and everyone isn't for everyone. I've known
No.
plenty of trainers who had pieces of paper hanging out of their back pocket, and they went to this school and that school, and they had a master's degree, and they had no clients.
Sure.
And then I've known trainers who legitimately could not read English, but they were super empathetic and compassionate, and they had tons of clients. So what is it looking like for you? That's why we have male trainers, we have female trainers, we have every kind of thing in between, because not everybody fits with everyone. So the goal of the client is to come in and find a place that fits the bill, so you meet the analytical goals. They got some form of schooling, they have some form of insurance. Also, we forgot to talk about the place is clean. Okay, that's
Yeah.
another thing. You guys running gyms, stop. It's not a dump. Your mom doesn't live there. Like, make it. I can't. And again, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I was just at a seminar recently in a state that shall not be mentioned, so that people don't know that I'm talking about them.
Yeah.
The gym was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, tons and tons of equipment, totally in line with what we would see as far as movement-based machines, reverse hypers, inverse curls. We're going to get into all that in future podcasts. But the place was a complete dump.
Yeah.
So
And we understand there are some gyms that are
That's
like
part of
that,
their
and that's fine,
ambiance.
and that's their aesthetic, if you will. But we're talking about personal training gyms, places where people are coming for help, specifically, kind of your everyday person. We're not talking your,
Yeah, 'cause
your
a hard-
world-class athletes.
because a hardcore guy or girl will they'll go wherever.
Sure, and
Okay.
and they should, absolutely.
Yeah, and
I
that's
mean,
fine, but that's, again, that's not for everyone. So if you look at, like, if you were to walk into our facility, some people might say because of the layout and the colors and the way that things look, that it's kind of on that hardcore side. I guess if you wanna call it that, if you're into the label, that's fine. We don't label it like that. I mean, to give you a quick demographic of our facility, it's over 90% female. The average age is 44. The average education level is a master's. These aren't people. These are women and some men who want to train hard. They want to train safe, so they want it to be inclusive, but then also they're also not trying to, like, you know.
Nobody's trying to compete.
Not
Let's
trying to
face
get-
it.
not-
Nobody is trying to compete in anything, and
Well, and they're just we're meeting people on the level of they're trying to get they're looking to be their optimal self. Like, we
Sure.
use that word all the time, optimal.
Sure.
So with that being said, they're not trying to come into a place that is super dirty. And that's another thing that we pride ourselves on, is that it's very clean. So those are some things from the client perspective that you want to look at, and then some of the things from the trainer perspective. One thing that I see consistently, if you're not a good match with a client, you gotta put them onto somebody who is, so that
Sure.
the ability to tap out or refer out, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Trainers got a huge inferiority complex. You talk to so and so.
Yeah.
When I used to work in big box gyms, when people would see other people talking to each other, it'd be like, "You're talking to so and so. What did you say to them? Who just said that?"
check your ego.
Yeah,
it's not about you.
Yeah,
It really isn't.
It's what's best for the client. So if they need to go, because again, not everybody, just because, look, we're going to offer you, okay, phenomenal training experience. It's going to be safe. It's going to be inclusive. This is what we're trying to guarantee. Filling out of a comprehensive questionnaire so we can actually identify the real reasons why you're here. Okay, not just the jibber jabber reasons why you're here. Okay, an assessment, and then a professionally put together program with all the variables monitored. Okay, so, and again, we'll get into this in future episodes, but volume, exercise selection, exercise order, sets, reps, loads, tempo, and rest periods.
Yes.
Okay, so we're into all that. You know what? Some people could give a shit about that. They just want to move.
Yep.
Why do you think Zumba class, besides the fact they're free at most gyms, that's another thing, you get what you pay for, but Zumba's popular, spinning's popular, okay? That's why, because people just want to go work out. Spinning has been the same class since 1983. The same exact class since the mid-'80s. Nothing any different. I don't care how you shake your arms or you get off the seat and you wiggle your butt and you do little funny moves. It's the same thing, okay? It's not serious. It shouldn't be viewed that way. It's just a way to move on a bike in a group setting, and some people
Yeah.
just want to do that. They're not looking for the sciencey part. They're not looking to
Sure.
be razzle-dazzled by statistics and figures. They just want to move. And that's okay too.
And some people just, let's face it, want to check in on Facebook and say, you know,
Ooh, man.
look,
You're-
look where I was.
yeah, yes.
I'm better than
Check.
you.
Yes, check. So
Don't do that.
with that being said, you can't find fault in that, but eventually those people will run into a problem too. Because that's okay until you have a goal. So, like we always say, you can't get individualized programs. You can't get individualized results in a group setting because everybody's
Yep.
different. So, like, you're tall, I'm taller than you, so my spine is different. Limb lengths are different, goals are different, injury history, so on and so forth. So, as soon as somebody says, you know, I want to be 10% body fat, well, now you've just put down on a piece of paper something that requires a little bit of specificity.
Sure.
So, workouts of the day and spinning classes and Zumba and all that other stuff, those are fine. They're great. We're not gonna super hate on them just yet. Okay, just yet. But when you start to say, well, I want to run a marathon, or I want to be 10% body fat, or I want to go be able to hike the Grand Canyon, I don't know, anything.
Sure.
Now you added specificity to that, and that overall group, easy to follow thing, generalized was the word I'm looking for, generalized program, generalized workout, is gonna stop working after so long. And that's where you need to go into specifics, and that's where you might need to, or someone might need to hire a trainer to get into that. So individualized, exactly, 100%. So no two people can do the same things, and that's another thing that, which leads, a nice segue on my work, leads us into the next thing is the cookie cutterness, man. You trainers out there, you're killing me with this cookie cutterness. Okay. It's like, you know how in the Nutty Professor when the one guy was like, women be oh no, that was in Coming into America, wasn't it? Women be shopping.
I'm not sure.
You can't stop a woman from shopping. Remember that? I don't remember what it was in. Somebody's gonna roast me on there and say that I totally
let
got
him
some
know.
other-
Tell him.
Yeah, I can't remember what movie it was from. You can't stop a woman from shopping. Maybe I thought it was the Nutty Professor, but whatever. Anyway,
Sure.
you can't stop people from nudging the person next to them and saying, "Hey, what did he do? What did he give you this week?" They do it here all the time, and we've had people.
Stop comparing yourself.
Yeah, stop comparing, okay? And trainers, stop giving everyone the same thing and passing it off like you're being individualized.
Yeah.
Stop it. You know how many times I have people come in here and they come from boot camp or whatever type programs, and everyone in the camp got the same exact diet? And I'll ask them, I'll say, okay, well, you have a 250-pound girl here and you have a 130-pound girl here, but they got the same amount of food? How's that even possible?
Yeah.
But see, this
Here's your binder.
Yeah.
Follow it to a T.
Follow it to a T, and it's the exact. But everybody gets the same workout. So the 6 foot tall person with a bad knee gets the same exact workout as the 5'3" girl who wants to run a marathon.
Yep.
That is super unprofessional, and you're taking advantage of an unknowing public, because as soon as they get hip to your scam and they come somewhere like here, they get really, really mad. So do you know how many times I've heard from people that say, this is really difficult because I have never heard any of this information before.
Sure.
And they're coming off of training with a trainer for sometimes a year and a half, 2 years, and they find their way here somehow, and we introduce them to proper programming, and they go, I've never heard of any of these things. I didn't know how to monitor volume. I didn't understand any of these loading parameters or how to set up a program. That was never explained. There are no tricks up the proverbial sleeve. There's no tricks up it. But if you do that to people long enough, they will get a hold of it. And then you have people too who go through successive programs, and then nothing changed from program to program. And this has been, and this is a big deal. Not only, obviously, we're speaking locally, maybe a little bit. We're going to catch heat because we're talking local, but even in the last couple months to last year, the trainers go out of their way, like Nick Mitchell from Ultimate Performance, John Meadows out of Ohio, have found people on Instagram literally copying and pasting their programs that they have copyrighted and selling them. It's totally disingenuous, and you don't do anyone and you don't do the industry any favors when you do stuff like that. So stop it. Stop doing that. Quit taking people's money and offering them something that they think they're getting one thing and they're getting another.
Yeah, I mean it's carny behavior, right? Nobody wants to be that guy. Don't be that guy or girl.
Yes, don't be that guy or girl. You're absolutely right. Okay. I think that about wraps up. Do you have any more people you want to roast on here? we turn that
I think
into,
for our intro, that's probably
I think that's pretty good. But
decent. If if you like our no nonsense way of doing things, our brutal honesty, let us know. If you don't, let us know. We probably won't care if you don't, because we tend not to care.
Yeah, we're gonna keep on rolling either way, so it doesn't matter.
Nobody wanted us to paint our walls black, and guess what?
They're black.
They're all black.
They're all black.
It's fine. It's okay. Everybody will be fine.
Yes. And not having 15,000 electromagnetic treadmills in your gym is also not popular. And actually, in our area, having a system of training that you use to get people phenomenal results isn't very popular either. So that's okay. In the future, We're gonna post probably one of these a week to start until we hopefully gain some steam and we give you guys some stuff that you want to listen to. If you want to comment, like she said, you can comment below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we will see you. What can we say? See you on the flip side, man.
Oh, no, don't say that.
All right, we're out.